Moderna, meantime, planning to ask American and European regulators to allow emergency use of its COVID-19 vaccine today amid some promising new results. The company released new results from its phase 3 study showing it was 94.1% effective. The number jumps to 100% when it comes to preventing severe cases. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Matthew Oughton joins me now. He is in Montreal today. Great to see you.
You as well, Angie. Thank you.
So certainly encouraging news on the vaccine front, with Moderna now looking to push to get its vaccine out as soon as possible. Your thoughts on that? But Dr. Oughton, there's still a lot of questions there with regards to the effectiveness, and is this going to be an annual vaccine? Is it a one-time vaccine? Your thoughts on what we're seeing unfold today?
So this really is an unprecedented project, and previously I've compared this to the moon race back in the 60s, or perhaps the Human Genome Project, in terms of the unprecedented amount of international collaboration that is going into this kind of project, where we've never had vaccines developed over such a short span of time, but still at the same time be studied as thoroughly in, again, it's only been a matter of several months. So there's lots of good data coming out of these phase 3 trials from Moderna as well as some other manufacturers, showing that these vaccines appear to be highly effective across a wide range of different groups. Right now, largely the data that's coming out is really focusing on adults, and particularly good news for preventing severe disease, because as we're seeing across this country, it's really the severe disease, the people who wind up needing hospitalization or perhaps ICU level care, that are posing a big challenge to our healthcare system. So we're not all the way there, because we still have to get the first doses. And of course, the first doses, we're not going to get the whole batch all at once. There's still all the questions of how the logistics behind how we're going to get these doses into which people as quickly as possible. To go back to your question as to how this will likely work. Again, with only several months of study, we don't know the long-term duration of protection, but there seems to be good reason to believe that this is likely to be long-term, at least several months and probably several years.
Yeah, and that's the hope there as we continue to track the numbers. And we've been reminding, as you've been, when we're speaking with experts such as yourself, reminding Canadians that although the vaccine is there, the virus is still in existence as well. And we've just got numbers coming in from where you are, Quebec, reporting 1,333 new infections today. So again, still in that quadruple number range. Dr. Oughton, your take now on, for example, where you are and the handling of the virus there, and whether or not there needs to be continued restrictions until we get to that level of safety with a vaccine.
At the very least, there need to be some restrictions, because up until such time as we have widespread distribution of vaccine in the Canadian population, which is still probably going to be several months from now, like I was alluding to before, I believe what we're going to wind up with is early distribution of a small number of doses. There's going to be, there already has been and will continue to be discussion as to how to best get the most quote-unquote bang for our buck. Do these doses go to the most vulnerable patients in things like the long-term care facilities, and here in Quebec, the CHSLDs, healthcare workers, another obvious group. There's also been discussion, perhaps these should go to the hardest hit areas to try to sort of have the biggest effect. There's a lot of different ways that this could be triaged. But I think going forwards, I think we still have to conduct ourselves assuming that we have a highly contagious virus that's going to be running through a largely vulnerable population. And yet, despite the current level of restrictions, we're still seeing these record numbers in Ontario, these sort of plateau of around 1,200, 1,300 cases every day in Quebec. And I think that we've got to rethink what we're doing if we actually want to get the numbers down before we really get into the thick of the winter season, where it's predictable that the numbers of new cases per day could rise further beyond what we're currently seeing.
Yeah, exactly. And before I let you go, a sense of some of the ethical dilemmas Canada might run into when administering a new vaccine. I mean, we've been down that road before.
Certainly. I mean, the experience with H1N1 in 2009 is the one that comes to mind. So right now, we need to be guided, I think, in part by the data. So We need to be sure that the groups that will be receiving the vaccine early on are the groups that have the best support from the phase 3 data, so that we will be getting the most effectiveness out of them. I think there's going to be, and there should be, and there's going to continue to be discussion as to how to best deploy this. One of the good pieces of news out of Moderna's product is that at least once it's thawed out, because it still needs these very ultra cold freezers for storage, but once it's thawed out, at least there's about a month where you can keep it at more reasonable refrigerator temperatures, which will make the distribution of doses and getting all those doses into people's arms, I think, a lot easier.
Yeah, certainly. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Matthew Oughton, thank you so much, as always, for this, Dr. Oughton. We'll talk to you again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.